everybody?
We're doing something a little different today.
Oh, it's inverted. Oh, hold on.
It's inverted, Jesus.
That's messing with me.
Okay, well, I suppose I'll explain what we're doing.
Please.
So, I remembered a thing that I saw a year ago that I thought looked really fun that I wanted to do for the channel, and so we picked Minecraft for a reason because it's nice and calm and quiet and not distracting, essentially.
And then there's me.
We're gonna be doing a dramatic reading of the Eye of Argon.
Extra dramatic.
So for anybody who doesn't know what this is, it's widely regarded as the worst fantasy story ever written. It's a short story by a guy named Jim Thies, Theis, and it was published in the 70s sometime in a magazine, and to such abhorrent reviews that the writing community has adopted it and turned it into a party game, where one person reads one paragraph and another person reads another paragraph, and so on and so forth, until you laugh, and then you have to pass it on.
Yes, so we'll be switching. So this is me, Dan, playing right now.
Dan is playing Minecraft right now, and I'll be doing the first stretch of reading.
Yes.
And so the rules are as such. You have to read it as it's written. Spelling mistakes, grammar errors, and everything. You can't fix it. And once you laugh or giggle in any capacity, smiling is fine. Because if we do that, we'll never get anywhere.
Yeah, no shit.
So it has to be like an audible laugh of some kind.
Right. So yeah. So if we say shit that sounds ridiculous, that's how it's written. We're reading it word for word.
Absolutely. And so the ribbing of the other person, the comments and whatnot made about the readings are also part of the game. So
okay, fair. That's fair.
Yeah. So be prepared for that, I guess.
Yes.
I mean, I suppose I should be saying that to myself since I'm going first.
You're going to start. And just before we jump into it, one more thing is we also have our lovely ladies here with us. We've got Miss Isla in the room right now. Scream high. It's a really good scream. And
mine is it taking a phone call in the other room.
Caitlin is in the other room. Okay.
Right.
I've just been
extra audience
punching trees, so right. I think that's
a good place to start.
I'm escaped convict here.
So yeah, this story is very like Conan-esque.
Yeah, like Lord of the Rings type genre-ish.
It's very
it was on the back tail of it. You were saying.
Yeah, it was sort of trying to ride the coattails of Lord of the Rings, and such. So.
All right, so yeah, let's jump balls deep into it then.
Believe me, there will be plenty of that.
The depth of these balls will be like any other.
You know, that may actually be a line from the story.
That's gonna be a line in my autobiography now.
That'll be the title of your autobiography.
the depths of these balls, like none other. Yeah, no, okay.
All right. The weather-beaten trail wound ahead into the dust-racked climes of the barren land which dominated large portions of the Norgolian Empire. Age-worn hoofprints, smothered by the sifting sands of time, shone dully against the dust-splattered crust of Earth.
You've already almost lost it.
Almost. The tireless sun cast its parching rays of incandescence from overhead, halfway through its daily revolution. Small rodents scampered about, occupying themselves in the daily accomplishments of their dismal lives. Dust sprayed over 3 heaving mounts in blinding clouds, while they bore the burdensome cargoes of their struggling overseers. Jesus Christ. Prepare to embrace your creators in the Stygian haunts of hell, barbarian, gasped the first soldier. Which I guess is not the proper way to read that. Prepare to embrace your creators in the Stygian haunts of hell, barbarian. Only after you have kissed the fleeting stead of death, wretch, returned Grigner. A sweeping blade of flashing steel riveted from the massive barbarian's hide enameled shield as his rippling arm. Fuck. It's just too much description.
Go on about his rippling what now? Okay, well, I've leveled this area for you, so you can build a nice mud hut. Okay, where's the
Fair
rippling that I need to read
the,
from?
Like the third sort of paragraph, or the second sort of paragraph down.
Sprinkle crimson. Oh,
So, like, near the top of the page. A sweeping blade of flashing steel.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, just start from there.
A sweeping blade of flashing steel riveted from the massive barbarian's hide, enameled shield, as his rippling arm his arm thrust forth, sending a steel shod blade to the hilt into the soldier's vital organs. Goodness gracious, I need to read more. The disemboweled mercenary crumbled from his saddle and sank to the clouded sward, sprinkling the parched dust with crimson droplets of escaping life fluid. Jesus. The enthused barbarian swiveled about, his shock of fury red hair tossing robustly in the humid air currents as he faced the attacks of the defeated soldiers fellow in his arms. Okay, well, I just tracked out right there. All I could, we have a friend he's a driver named Nick. He's a good man, Nick Allen. And I just imagine him swiveling around with his fiery red hair. God damn it.
And escaping life fluid just sounds like he jizzed his pants when
Yeah,
he died.
life fluid is the worst way to describe that.
Describe blood.
Jesus, the scarlet nectar.
That still gets me every time.
That was a good one.
Okay, okay, where are we here?
In his arms, yeah. So it's damn you, barbarian.
Damn you, barbarian! Shrieked the soldier as he observed his comrade in death. A gleaming scimitar smote a heavy blow against the renegade's spiked helmet, bringing a heavy cloud over the accordion's misting brain. None of that makes sense.
Goodness.
Shaking off the effects of the pounding blow to his head, Grigner brought down his scarlet streaked edge against the shoulder of the soldier's crudely forged hauberk, clanging harmlessly to the left side of his opponent. So, the soldier's opponent? So, Grigner then.
One of the people.
The soldier's stead whinnied as he directed the horse back from the driving blades of the barbarian. Grigner leashed his mount forward as the hoarsely piercing battle cry of his wilderness-bred race resounded from his grinding lungs.
Goodness.
What is he, a bird?
Yeah, he needs to check that out.
A twirling blade bounced harmlessly from the mighty thief's buckler as his rolling right arm cleft upward, sending a foot of blinding steel ripping through the Cimmerian's exposed gullet. A gasping gurgle from the soldier's writhing mouth as he tumbled to the golden sand at his feet and wormed agonizingly in his deathbed. Gasping gurgle is the same thing.
Now
That's
you
redundant. Grigner's emerald green orbs glared lustfully at the wallowing soldiers struggling before his chestnut-swirled mount. His scowling voice reverberated over the dying form in a tone of mocking mirth. You city-bred dogs should learn not to antagonize your better. Reining his weary mount ahead, Grigner resumed his journey to the Norgolian city of Gorzum, hoping to discover wine, women, and adventure to boil the wild blood coursing through his savage veins. The trek to Gorzom was forced upon Grigner when the soldiers of Kryn were leashed upon him by a faithless concubine he had wooed. Wow, that's
And that's how I met your mother, kids.
His scandalous activities throughout the Cimmerian city had unleashed throngs of havoc and uproar among its refined patricians, leading them to tack a heavy reward on his head. He had barely managed to escape through the back entrance of the inn he had been guzzling in, as a squad of soldiers trounced upon him. Is trounced even a word?
I don't know.
After spilling a spout of blood from the leader of the mercenaries as he dismembered one of the officer's arms. Dismembered the officer's arms had members now?
How many?
He retreated to his mount to make his way toward Gorzom, rumored to contain hordes of plunder and many young wenches for any man who has the backbone to wrest them away. Chapter 2. Arriving after dusk in Gorzom, obviously, Grigner descended to a dismal alley, reining his horse before a beaten tavern. The red-haired giant strode into the dimly lit hostelry, reeking of foul odors and cheap wine. The air was heavy with choking fumes spewing from smoldering torches. Smoldering torches. Encased within Thedan's earthen-packed walls. Tables were clustered in groups of drunken thieves and cutthroats, tossing dice or making love to willing prostitutes. What, just at the tables? I mean...
Hey, are you a prostitute? Second question, are you willing?
I mean, if she's a prostitute, I think that's the point.
But that's the... Yeah, why would you then...
Willing prostitutes.
That's kind of an oxymoron there.
A little bit, yeah. So that's weird. I guess that's good service?
We should be thanking them, really.
Obviously. Eyeing a slender female crouched alone at a nearby bench. Fuck!
Okay. Well,
crouched alone at a nearby
what a good time, because I just ran out of shovel. You need a new shovel.
I envision her just, taking a shit in the corner.
Glancing upon...
So, eyeing a slender female, second paragraph down.
Eyeing a slender female crouched alone at a nearby bench, Grigna advanced, wishing to wholesomely occupy his time. The flickering torches cast weird shafts of luminescence dancing over the half-naked harlot of his choice. Her stringy orchid twines of hair swaying gracefully over the opaque nose. Opaque nose. As she has raised the half-drained...
I think that's one of their gods.
Oh, okay. As she has raised the half-drained mug to her pale red lips. Glancing upward, the alluring complexion noted the stalwart giant as he rapidly approached. A faint glimmering spark from the pair of deep blue ovals of the enormous female as she motioned toward Grigner, enticing him to join her. The barbarian seated himself upon a stool at the wench's side, exposing his body, naked save for a loincloth brandishing a long steel broadsword, an iron spiral...
Why was the loincloth brandishing the sword?
I don't know, why was it? That sounds like a good joke. An iron spiraled battle helmet, and a thick leather sandals.
And a thick leather sandal.
People ask me. I walk around town with one shoe, and people ask me, "Oh, did you lose a shoe?" I say, "No, I found one." And a thick leather sandals to their.
Oh.
And that's weird. Yeah, that's literally that's how it's read.
A
thick leather sandals.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not me. I feel like people think that's me because I've been
that's why I said
up.
There's a lot of spelling errors.
I'm just auditly putting that out there. To her obstructed view, thou hast need to occupy your time, barbarian. Questioned the female.
Questioned the female.
God damn it. Okay, shit.
Okay.
Questioned the female.
Questioned the female?
Great,
Okay.
now I'm doing it.
Alright. Only if something worth offering is within my reach, stated Grigner as his hand crept to embrace the tempting female, who welcomed them with open willingness. Okay. From where do you come, barbarian? And by what are you called? Gasped the complying wench as Grigner smothered her lips with the blazing touch of his flaming mouth.
Jesus.
Holy fuck, I almost lost it there.
That was a mouthful. And that's what she said.
The engrossed Titan ignored the queries of the inquisitive female, pulling her toward him in a and crushing her sagging nipples to his yearning
Jesus Christ. I'll reread.
Her nipples are sagging, apparently. Fuck.
The engrossed Titan ignored the queries of the inquisitive female, pulling her towards him and crushing her sagging nipples in his yearning chest. Without struggle, she gave in, winding her soft arms around the harshly bronze hide of Grignar corded shoulder blades, as his calloused hands caressed her firm, protruding busts. That's literally what it says. You make love well, wench, admitted Grignar, as he reached for the vessels of potent wine his charge has been quaffing.
Quaffing? She's doing its
Quaffing? I don't know. A flying foot caught the mug Grignar had taken hold of, sending its blood-red contents sloshing over a flickering crescent, leashing tongues of a bright orange flame to the foot-trodden floor. Remove yourself, Sarah. The wench belongs to me, blabbered a drunk soldier, too far consumed by the influences of his virile brew to make note the superior size of his adversary. Grignar lithely bounded from the startled female, his face lit up to an ashen red ferocity, and eyes locked in a searing feral blaze toward the swaying soldier. To hell with you, braggart! Bellowed the angered Incordian as he hefted his finely honed broadsword. The staggering soldier clumsily reached towards the pommel of his dangling sword. That does not sound like he's reaching for a weapon. But before his hand ever touched the oaken hilt, a silvered flash was slicing the heavy air. The thews of the savage's lashing right arm bulged from the glistening bronzed hide as his blade bit deeply into the soldier's neck, loping off the confused head of a senseless tormentor. With a nauseating thud, the severed oval toppled to the floor. The severed oval. Yes.
Severed oval?
That's a way of saying, yeah, obviously the head. Terrific. As the segregated torso of Grignar's Bovian antagonist swayed, then collapsed in a pool of swirled crimson. Jesus. In the confusion... Jesus, take the wheel! In the confusion of the soldiers' fellows confronted Grignar with unsheathed cutlasses directed toward the latter's scowling makeup. The slut should have picked his quarry more carefully. Quarry, roared the victor in mocking baritone growl as he wiped his dripping blade on the prostrate form and returned it to its scabbard. The fool should have shown more prudence. However, you shall rue your actions while rotting in the pits, stated one of the sprawled soldiers' comrades. Grignar's hand began to remove his blade from his leather housing, but retarded the motion in face of the blades waving before his face. Dismiss your hand from the hilt, barbarian, or you shall find a foot of steel sheathed in your gizzard. Fuck. Yeah, shit.
Okay, so where are we?
It's right at the bottom. Grignar weighed his position.
Okay. Okay. Grignar weighed his position, observing his plight, whereupon he took the soldier's advance as the only logical choice. To attempt to hack his way from his present predicament could only warrant certain death. He was of no mind to bring upon his own demise if an alternate path presented itself. Really, they don't have to explain his motivation that much.
Seriously.
The will to necessitate his life forced him to yield to the superior force in hopes of a moment of carelessness later upon the part of his captors in which he could effect a more plausible means of escape. Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
The first sentence covered that. You may steady your arms, I will go without a struggle. Your decision is a wise one, yet perhaps you would have been better off if you had forced death. The soldier's mouth wrinkled into a sadistic grin of knowing mirth as he prodded his prisoner on with his sword point. After an indiscriminate period of marching... Indiscriminate? Period of marching through slinking alleyways and dim moonlighted streets, the procession confronted a massive... what the fuck is that word? Seraglio?
Jeez.
The palace area was surrounded by an iron grating with a lush garden upon all sides. Oh, that's it for this episode.
Perfect.
For this time.